Today I'm going to have the pleasure of speaking with Albert, and we're going to discuss
the story of how we bought our first homes.
Thank you, Albert, because I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, that was.
So how old were you when you bought your first home?
I was 20 years old.
Wow, you're so young.
Yeah, I was 20. I was almost 21, I think.
Okay.
But I was 20. 20 and some months.
20. Did you buy it by yourself, or did you have a co-signer?
I don't. Bought it by myself. I think I had like a 615 credit score at the time.
Actually quite impressive for a 20-year-old.
Well, I had bought a dirt bike when I was 18.
So you jacked up your credit, then you got it to get somewhat okay.
That worked out. Yeah, I was 20 years old when I bought my first house. So
that's awesome. And tell me, like, how'd you get your down payment? Were you self-employed? Did you work for a company? Like, how did that look like? I think that so many people today think that you need 20% down, or that you're making this enormous amount of money.
Sure.
So to hear that you bought at 20, you know, what were you doing?
Yeah, no, I was working at a cable company selling cable door to door.
What was that, Cox?
A cable company? What, we gonna tag them in the comments? Or what?
I just want to know. I haven't heard a cable company unless it's Cox. I don't know.
No, I worked there and at AT&T when they brought their cable companies. So I went back and forth. I did that actually for 7 years on and off, like at both companies.
Okay.
So, y'all want to buy HBO? That was kind of my whole spiel. So I was doing that from like 18 to 24 or whatever, 25. And then when I was 20, I was getting moved out of my current situation.
Okay. We were renting?
Yeah, I was renting.
Okay.
And so the landlord there is a good buddy of mine. And so he was getting ready to sell the place. So he had given me a couple other rental options. And then I kind of just brought it up in conversation, never thinking it was possible. Because, again, I'm 20. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. And I go...
Did you have parents? Did your mom own?
I do have parents. That's how I was born, correct? And, yes. Yeah,
do your parents own a home at the time? Did they own a home when you were purchasing?
United States.
So it wasn't something that they were guiding you or telling you, like, hey, this is what you need to do. It was him.
Yeah, it was Uncle D. Shout out Uncle D. And so, shout him out for no reason.
Okay.
So he had given me a couple other options, what rent, to this, to that. And then I was like, dude, like, what would it take to buy? It was like a very general question. We were at lunch. We were at the original, what's the fish taco place on Bonita Road?
T-Joy's, right, okay.
So we're at T-Joy's bar having some fish tacos, and I just kind of brought it up, and he was like, oh, dude, it should be fairly simple. FHA, like, can you come up with 5% of whatever the number was back then? I don't want to hurt people's feelings as to how much my first place cost, 15 years ago, but...
Yeah, but you know what? It's funny that you say that, because back in the day, 15 years ago, that was a lot of money then,
it would
right?
Been, yeah.
So minimum wages was a lot lower. So to 100%. What you're stating is you're comparing what people are making now with a purchase price of 15 years ago. Big difference.
Yeah.
But at that price, you probably thought like, oh my God, how could I ever? It was all the money in the world,
and it was 1.5 times my rent was my mortgage payment even back then, right?
Okay.
So it was a little bit more of a cost and whatever. So I ended up. How did I buy it?
So did you pull money from your 401k? Did you actually?
You know what I did? So I sold a bunch of random shit in my house.
Oh, okay.
So literally like dirt bike helmets that I had like laying there from back in the day, boots. I don't know if anybody remembers 𝗶𝘁𝗵𝗶, but like 3 𝗶𝘁𝗵 sweaters. You have no idea what 𝗶𝘁𝗵 is.
I have no idea.
I used to have swag, Kithia, back in the day. So
okay.
I sold like 3 𝗶𝘁𝗵 sweaters. I sold some Jordans. I sold like stuff like that just to come up with it. Ended up coming up with about $25,000 and just selling random stuff. I had like maybe like 5 or 6 of that saved up just from whatever. And then I think I got right to 20, and I borrowed 5 from my mom out of like her savings.
You mean she gifted you $5,000?
I paid her back. Don't ask her, but I think I did. And then we bought, and honestly, that was my piggy bank for the following decade. Literally that home purchase is how I made every other move in real estate that I've made up until this point, pretty much.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How about you?
9 years ago, I bought my first condo. I was life changed. I went through a divorce.
Okay.
And so, that was actually really scary, right? Going through a divorce. I didn't really work at the time. I didn't know how great my credit was. So I was actually renting, which I thought that was going to be even impossible because I put it all under my name. Long story short, I got along really well with the owner of the condo. And she actually, I think I lived there for about a year. And she decided to offer it to me for sale by owner. Oh. Yeah, so I got...
The old 𝗏𝘗𝘁𝗶.
Yeah, and not that she gave it to me like $50,000 below market value because we got the property appraised. So I did pay market value at the time. And I was working as a lender. I did not have the 2 years, so I did have
a unique loan product?
I did have a unique loan product. And then I had the money because I did get some money from the divorce. I used that money for a down payment and ta-da! But I was really scared.
You still have that place?
I do. I still have that place, but I was actually really scared because...
Where is it? I might have a buyer for it.
I'm not selling it.
Sorry.
But again, I was really scared. I had never really paid a large bill until I started renting, which that was really scary. And the funny story is my situation was a little different because I did come in with a good down payment. And so my mortgage ended up being a little less than what I was renting for, but I was more scared to make the purchase even though my rent was higher. Well, just the fear of having that obligation, that permanent obligation.
The fear is rough, right? Because I was fearless. I didn't care, right? Like, who cares? Like, if I bought it and I lost it, whatever. Like, to me, that's when you're 20 years old. Like, it doesn't matter. My frontal lobe wasn't even developed yet, right? But my mom was terrified.
So for you.
For me. So she was that ear, like in my ear, like I'll loan you the money. And again, it's a mom loan, so I don't know if I repaid it or not. But it was very much like a...
Well, in financing, just so you guys know, we don't like loans. We like gifts.
Yeah, my mom.
Maybe, 15 years ago.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I used the lender I used at the time. He's still in the business, by the way. But yeah, so anyway, and then there'll be in a situation where she was like, I'll give you the money, right? But... yeah. This might not work out for you. Also, I was, like I said, I went back and forth between companies, so I was constantly like, it wasn't like the most stable situation like it is now. So it like outside fears can also be scary. My dad was the opposite. When he was fucking buy.
Yeah, I actually can relate to you as well because I do own I own 3 properties now, and every time I have my parents, we didn't come from that background where they have a real estate portfolio, right? So every time I make a move, they're like petrified, and it's like, are you sure? I don't think so. You're so well. Don't do anything that could disrupt that. And so, that can eat at you, or you start considering or thinking like, should I really do this? But
there are outside fears, right? And I think that's kind of what it was with my mom. As we moved to this country, and she was good in Mexico, and then we came here, and it's a little bit of a struggle sometimes with that transition, right? And then you go, like, hey, we're good right now. Yeah. Like, why are you throwing it? But those are outside fears, right? And I think now she's like, oh, qué bueno. Good thing you bought that place. Because she's seen what it's allowed us to do with, using that as a piggy bank to do other moves.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? Sometimes I think that, being in our industry, although we can come across good opportunities, people think that we own homes because we're getting them so under market. But that isn't the case. The last property I purchased was actually during COVID, where the properties were at the height of the market. And since then, it's actually increased. I'm actually looking to purchase, or I want to purchase another property probably in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And so I should have bought another property last year, but some things got in the way and I just didn't make it happen. But well,
heels and purses are expensive. We get it.
That's something that I got to talk to myself about, like, stop spending this money. But real estate really has changed my life. And, even when I was nervous with every single purchase, it's like you adjust within a few months. You're like, oh, I could make this happen. 100%. Everything's going to be fine. And it's appreciating, so.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's been that plus every other door that we've added to the portfolio since have been the reason why we've been like able to like grow exponentially as a couple, like with the wife and myself, right? And now that we have a baby, like the ability to be able to change her environment is so much easier by being able, like, because I live in the hood right now. And
what's the hood?
Huh?
What's the hood?
Well, it was hooder when we moved there. My mother-in-law was very upset at me 6 months ago.
It's not the hood, by the way, but okay.
Some people call it Coronado East. Some people call it Downtown South. I guess it's National City.
Got it. Okay.
Right? But like, even that is we when we bought that, it was very like, dude, how are you going to pay that much money for a property in National City? And now that we have a good bit of equity in it, we're using that to make some additional plays so that my daughter can. So we can make that next move. Because I'm trying to buy something in the next year. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if I'll use you as a lender, but I'll definitely price you out. And then...
I'm not sure I'll use you as an agent, but we'll see.
No, but yeah. So I say, to kind of circle back to the beginning, right? It was just getting started.
Yeah, I agree. And it, you just had a baby, which again, congrats. She's so cute. But
thank you.
With my son, our household is so different now. We're constantly talking about buying a home, the importance of credit, the importance of wealth building,
financial literacy.
100%. You know, we've already put him on our credit card so he could start establishing credit. And it's, you know, people don't understand that. Again, just so you guys know, none of my parents graduated from college. I didn't graduate from college, but something about owning a home really does shift something in your mind 100%. Where you're like, man, I could do this, and I see the growth, and you really do start changing habits or creating better habits than what you had. And so I hope that Jaden, you know, when he's 40, 50, has 30, 40 doors. You know, you never know. Right. At least that's what I envision for him. But
it starts with one.
100%. Yes.
So yeah, I guess, you know, to bring it all back and I have these conversations, because I mean, you and I do quite a bit of first time buyers. It's as we circle back, I think we started doing buyers over the last maybe 18 months or something.
Yeah.
Some of those people are getting ready to go to their next door.
Yes.
Right. And to price points that like would have been impossible had they not started appreciating the first step. And a lot of them were properties that they didn't want. Like my first property had a pitch black bathroom.
Yeah, let's not talk about our first properties and their condition, because I thought mine had mold, or it did.
It did have mold?
It was
that
terrible.
Explains some things. So nonetheless, I'd say get started, look past the cosmetics, look, you know, maybe past the area, know that most times it's not your forever home, and just, off you go.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I hope we debunked some myths out there.
Look at me hanging in front of the camera, nobody does. Okay, there we go.
And if you guys have any questions or would love to, I don't know, just
chop
chat.
it up. Yeah, if anybody just wants to have a conversation about how, when, where, why, like, happy to, this is what I do. I talk about real estate every day, and that's what I know Kithia does as well. So, comment below if you have any questions, and we'll love to talk about it in the next video.